I wanted to make sure it really felt like this was one cohesive, comprehensive look at Carmen Berzatto and how did he become the person that he is. Season 1 is supposed to be just like chaos. We talked about season 2 being like a Empire Strikes Back season where it's like we got to defeat the Death Star, aka open up the new restaurant. And then season 3 was really supposed to be like really a moment to kind of like get a little bit quieter with the characters. The thing that I love about working with Chris Storer, who created the show, is I feel like he never wants to like do the same thing twice. So it feels like every episode and every season, he's like, okay, what if we did, an episode that had 116 scenes, like the premiere of season 3, where it's just like basically one long montage. And then we follow that with episode 302, which is one scene and everyone just around the kitchen yelling at each other in real time for, 25 minutes. So it's really fun to know that, each episode is going to be really different. Then we go on to episode 303, which is like this operatic, montage of seeing everyone trying to get their act together, which was cut by Adam Epstein. He did an amazing job. But yeah, I would say for season 3, like we loved kicking it off with like, where has Carmy been? Like he is like kind of this hard person, a hard nut to crack. He holds his cards really close to the chest. And so that was basically an episode that I carried throughout the entire season because the very first thing that they shot was him redoing all of the dishes, that were on the menu. And so I had all that footage. And then every couple of days, they'd be like, okay, now we got the sugar airport scene. Okay, now we got Sydney getting the dish. Okay, now we got, we shot the episode with Mikey and Tina. Now we have this conversation. So it was really fun to keep coming back to it and kind of like slowly keep adding more to this, puzzle that we were assembling. And I was very strict with like my color coding of like, okay, all the Copenhagen stuff is going to be orange. All of the stuff with Olivia Colman is going to be purple, just because I wanted to make sure it really felt like this was one kind of like cohesive, comprehensive look at Carmen Berzatto and how did he become the person that he is. And I think anybody, I think that Response got a lot of really good feedback, especially from people who work in the arts and filmmaking, because I hopefully everybody can relate to that feeling of having this dream and wanting to do something and how you're a sum of all the people who believed in you and the people who didn't believe you and the moments with your family that were encouraging and the moments that felt like a setback and they didn't understand what you were trying to do, and refining your work over and over again and all the like roadblocks that then led to creative inspiration. So I love trying to put that all in one place. And we always knew it was going to be this one long montage to this beautiful song by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. And they I basically was using their song while cutting. And then once we picture locked, they did a more kind of like customized version of the track, which was just amazing since I'm a huge fan of their work. So I was like, this is a dream come true. So yeah, talking about, Josh, like you said, like having that photo that then comes back. Like I think Chris is so smart about having these little tiny details that, link the past and the present and just that little snippet of Mikey and Tina that then comes back into basically a whole episode later in the season. I love how that was kind of mirrored. And, we talked about season 1 is supposed to be just like kind of like chaos and like, having the starting point of like hell, basically. It'd be like, why would anybody come back to this place? And then we try to figure that out through the course of the season and realizing that it's a show about grief and, Carmy is processing this trauma. Then we talked about season 2 being like almost like the Empire Strikes Back season where it's like everyone's getting their skills where we got to defeat the Death Star, aka open up the new restaurant, and everyone's kind of leveling up to then come back. We see Richie's amazing journey. Marcus goes to Copenhagen, Sydney's, going on the next level with all her inspiration. And then season 3 was really supposed to be like refining that vision and figuring out how to make it work and is it working? And so it was really a moment to kind of like get a little bit quieter with the characters. And we really tried to like have those moments that are really loud, like, that operatic episode, but also like intentionally starting the episode with this kind of slower montage to be like, we're going to get into these people's head and make sure that they still are, all on the same page. And what are the like little cracks that are starting to show underneath the surface in these relationships. So I think season 3 hopefully works because you're so, like you said, invested in the characters from season 1 and 2. We could take a step back and really get into their psychology a little bit more.